What's up, y'all? This is Johnny Jones. Y'all good? Last week, iconic movie superstar Will Smith was on All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Stephen Jackson. Will is back with Emancipation, a movie directed by Antoine Fuqua. He did Training Day, Equalizer 1 and 2. Emancipation is inspired by the story of Gordon, who was a black American slave in Louisiana who escaped the plantation in the 1860s. You might have seen the picture where he's sitting on a chair with a scorched back. Them scars. They call that picture Whip Peter. That's why they call him that in the movie.
This is not another slave movie.
At all.
Yeah.
It's a redemption story.
Yeah, this is a freedom movie.
Yeah.
You know, this is a movie you've never seen this part of the story.
Mm-mm.
Right? It's like we don't know about the strength and the endurance. You know, very rarely as a black man, when you watch a movie during this period, can you feel good about it?
Right.
Peter make you feel good about it.
Looks dope. Will is back at it. You already know he took a hiatus when he fucked up at the Oscars. Will had time to reflect and get his mind right. He speaks about it. Check it out.
For me as a little boy, you know, I watched my father beat up my mother and I didn't do anything. And I processed that as being a coward, you know, and everything in my life was about not being a coward, you know. And, you know, my father also Air Force, military, and, you know, he trained a discipline into me that, you know, I can manifest anything.
Right.
I can do anything, you know. And there was that realization, like, I can do anything, but you still didn't protect your mom. You let somebody beat up your mom, and you didn't do nothing, you know. And it's like, you know, it's been a real process purging that and forgiving myself for being human, you know. And I hated it. I hated that I'm human. I want to be Superman.
That's real. We want to be on point and be strong all the time. And when there's a fuck up, some happen, and we might put too much guilt and blame on ourselves, when at the end of the day, we're human. We will fuck up, learn from it, and it's okay.
You know?
But nah, for real. It's part of life, and you can't be scared to live. Iconic movie superstar Denzel Washington was also there to keep it real with him and give him game.
Yeah, Denzel, he grabbed me up these last 6 months.
I love that.
Denzel.
Someone you leaned on.
He real. Denzel's real.
Born and raised in Philadelphia, Will also spoke a little about his music career. People might not remember that The Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff won the first hip-hop Grammy with the best performance with Parents Just Don't Understand. Y'all know how the duo met? Destiny is real, yo.
In Philly, in Cruz, you know, everybody kind of had crews. He was in a crew in Winfield, and I was in a crew in West Philly. Got a call one night to do a house party, and I picked up the phone to call my MC, and he wasn't in the house. You know, there's pre-pager, cell phone.
Right.
He wasn't in the house, so I went to do the party, and it happens to be next door to Will. And he comes in the basement, and he sees me, doesn't see the MC. He's like, "Where's Ice?" I was like, I couldn't get in touch with him, and he was like, "You mind if I rock with you tonight?" And that night turned into another night, and it just never stopped.
Instant chemistry. I read that in the book, and I was like, man, God really his divine alignment is incredible.
Yeah, a lot of times.
Do you think about that? That's the night that literally changed both y'all.
Oh,
lives.
completely.
Yeah.
Completely. You know, what if Ice would have answered the phone?
Right.
You know?
Imagine if Will would have been just the guy dancing in a party and left right after. Things really happen for a reason. Also, Will spoke about a situation when he was signed to Def Jam co-founder and mogul Russell Simmons' management company. He was gonna do Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but he couldn't. His music contract demanded that he does a certain amount of tours and music. Feeling stuck, he went to see Uncle Rush to have a talk.
So we signed for management. So Russell and Leor Cohen had our management. So a couple of years went by, things were going well, and it was right before Fresh Prince. And I had contracts that wouldn't allow me to do Fresh Prince. So I go to Russell, and I was like, because my Rush contract stated that I had a certain amount of touring, whatever it was. So I said, I went in and I was like, and I have a vision for who I want to be, and your mind is so small that you can't write, blah, blah, blah. I'm giving him all of that. And Russell's sister, and he looks at me, and his eyes welled up with tears. And I was like, ooh. And he said, it was like, I wasn't expecting, his eyes welled up with tears. And he said, you really think I'm holding you back? And I was like, I had like committed, so I had to double down. I was like, absolutely. And he paused, and he looked over at his lawyer. He said, let him go. You're free today. And I was like, ooh, and let me out of the contract literally with nothing, no strings attached, nothing. He could have taxed me on Fresh Prince and movies and all that. Nope, clean. Let me go that day.
Wow.
And I was like, I love that dude.
Yeah, that's real. We know for sure that Russell Simmons is for the artist. But that also shows you that Will Smith has a gift to make you feel something.
I learned how to drive. I learned how to shave. I learned how to fight without him. I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him!
Remember that? Shout out to James Avery for pushing his acting game in that scene. R.I.P. Uncle Phil. Glad he was free to be able to do the show. Will is hip-hop and will always be. Remember how you always had them Jordans?
Did you know what you was doing for the culture? Doing the Fresh Prince when you was showing up with the Fresh J's?
No idea.
I know you didn't.
I was living the culture.
Right.
Right?
You were the culture.
Right. Yo, at that time,
You were
it was
the culture.
Like, I was literally calling Jordan. And I was like, Mike, please don't give it to nobody. Like, just let me be the first person.
Oh, really?
I gotta be the first person to wear
That's
it.
dope.
He was like, man, I don't run that.
I don't
He
run
was like,
that.
take this number. I was like, he was like, dude,
But you
will
sure
call
enough
me
had
that.
him, though, man. You sure enough had him.
You can catch the interview on YouTube on the Showtime Basketball channel or the Black Effect Podcast Network on iHeart, as we'll drop more stories. That was it. Thanks for watching and listening. This was Johnny Jones chopping it up with you. Be safe out there. Love.
My grandma and your grandma
Sitting by the fire.
My grandma told your grandma
She gonna set your flag on fire.
Come on. If you talking about ain't no. We're talking about ain't now.